Hey there, welcome to week 13 of math class. So you're probably thinking, is this guy, has he lost it? What happened? Because this doesn't look like multiplication, surely doesn't look like time or money, and I don't ever remember math class having a pizza. Well, this week we're going to be thinking about math in terms of food. So I mentioned to you guys when we started multiplication that multiplication is one of those um, concepts in math that work best in the kitchen. So when you're trying to make something, and if they're asking you to double or triple or quadruple a recipe, trying to make a recipe two, three, four times in a row is very time consuming. So by doing multiplication, you can add more to your recipe so that you can make more than what a recipe calls for. Well, another useful math concept that is very, very helpful in the kitchen is something called fractions. So some of us are probably familiar with them, others maybe not. Um, but for me, when I think of fractions, I always think of food. And in particular, I always think of a pizza. So, what is a fraction, first of all? Well, a fraction is how we talk about whole numbers. Well, what's a whole number? Um, Pick a number. I'm going to go with 5. Maybe I'll pick another one. 12. How about 17? How about 13? Well, it doesn't matter what number you pick as long as it is one of the familiar numbers that we know, like zero, anything 0 through 100, 0 through 1,000, whatever. Those are whole numbers because when you talk about those numbers, when you talk about the number 5, you're talking about a whole thing. You're talking about 5. That is a whole. All right. Well, when I look at this pizza, okay, I can see I'm going to count the slices here. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's a whole pizza. If I was to remove a slice, okay, and I'm going to try my very best not to eat this while I am recording, I no longer have a whole. Okay, I have some pieces of a pizza, or like I said, what we're going to be talking about this week, I have a fraction of a pizza because my whole was gone. When that slice left the pizza, it turned into a fraction of a pizza, not a whole pizza. Now I put it back. Now I have a whole pizza. So when we talk about fractions, that's exactly what we need to think about. If we have all the pieces, we now have a whole. Okay? And when you think about numbers, again, if you have your number 5, for example, that is your whole. As soon as a piece of that number is gone, or a piece of that pizza is gone, oh, now I only have a fraction of my pizza. Okay? Same thing with a candy bar, for example. So let's get our pizza out of the way. And I have this candy bar, okay, a Hershey's bar. So most Hershey's bars are broken into individual pieces. So I'm going to count those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. That's a whole Hershey bar right there. 16 pieces. It's whole. It's perfect square. Just like our pizza right here is about as close to a perfect circle as you can get. It is a whole. Okay. As soon as I decide to lose a piece of ball, I have this now. Okay, I have fractions of a candy bar. Right? Do it like that. I had my whole, and by breaking it apart, I'm in fractions or pieces. All right, so let's go back to that pizza for a second. What does this mean as far as numbers? Well, what it means is when we're dealing with fraction, we have two numbers. We have the whole, okay, which would be, as we said, 8 pieces, When we have whole or 8 pieces, that is what we would call our denominator. That is our bottom number. That shows us the total amount. Now, if you take some slices out of here, what I have here would be my top number of the fraction, or our numerator. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A numerator is how many pieces of the whole are there. So I have 5 out of the 8 pieces. So I have 5/8 of my pizza. So as you can see, fractions, when it comes to food, when it comes to the kitchen, can be very helpful in explaining how much is there, how much is left. Remember, when we're dealing with all the pieces, we have a whole. Fractions only happen when pieces are missing. So when I take my whole number, 5, 7, 14, all the numbers I mentioned at the very beginning of this video, as soon as I mess with that number and break it apart, break it down, I am now turning it into a fraction or a piece of the whole. Throughout this week, we will be taking the idea of a fraction and we will be getting rid of the pizza. We will be getting rid of the chocolate bar, and we will be looking at numbers. So for Tuesday and Wednesdays Nearpod, we're going to be doing some things with shapes and working on making sure you understand what a numerator, the top number of our fraction, remember the piece, and the denominator, the bottom number of our fraction, which is our whole. Okay, so numerator is our piece, denominator is our whole. So Tuesday and Wednesday, we will be working on understanding what a fraction looks like in number form, numerators and denominators. Once we get to Thursday and Friday, we will then start learning how we use fractions as a number. And we will be doing that by introducing you to fractions by using a number line. And you will hear me quite a bit talk about parts or pieces, fractions, right? And you'll hear me talk about the whole. So now that I have introduced you to the idea of fractions by using this pizza, I have made myself super hungry. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this video short so I can go eat this whole pizza. And then probably for dessert, I will eat most, if not all, that Hershey bar. I would like to say I'd save some for you, but you guys know I can kind of be a little bit of a pig when it comes to food. So maybe next time. All right, good luck. I hope you guys enjoyed this introduction to fractions. Please let me know in chat, in all seriousness, if this did not make sense. If it did not, please let me or one of the pairs know so that we can figure out a different way. Because although food is a great way to keep our attention, it still may not do the trick as far as getting you to understand that concept. But please just remember, we're talking about fractions. Here's our piece. This is our whole. Good luck this week with fractions.